So an Accurist for the channel, a British brand with many years history, since 1946. So is this watch any good? It costs more than a Casio Duro, but is it something that you could consider as an alternative if you wanted a budget dive watch? So let's take a closer look. So let's get the ball rolling, guys, and check out the stats and specs. So let's go and see if £90 is going to give you a worthy set of specifications. And after that, we'll move on to some more details, whether I recommend this or not, and the pros and cons, and all that jazz. So stats and specs, pretty straightforward for this piece. Guipas helped me out, 112 grams on its supplied silicone strap. It's funny, they call it shockproof. I don't know of many straps which are prone to being upset and shocked, but I don't know. The movement inside, it says caliber 2115, which is, I looked it up, it's a Miyota movement, so it literally costs about $5 this movement. But you know what? You do get an actual alignment with the seconds hand on the minute track around here, which is actually surprising at this price point. 120 click unidirectional rotating dive style bezel, but no pip. Loom on everything, on the hands and the indices, and the loom is great on the hands. You know, I'll pop up the loom shot. It's really good, holds out really well. So I'm impressed with that. 200 meters water resistance with that lovely 7.4mm, very big chunky crown, which you'd have fun fiddling with. Oh my God, there's something wrong with me. 22mm lug width, 50mm bang on lug to lug, which is just about on the cusp of sweet spot for most people. Chunky beastie at 13.3. 32mm dial, which is a nice, very big clear size, and lovely, bold, very legible indices there. I do like that. That's very clear. Stainless steel, 316L. Like I said, silicone strap, mineral glass. So it's tough, but not exactly impervious to scratches, unfortunately. And it's a 43mm case size, and that's not including these nice big chunky guards here to the lovely big chunky crown, which is signed. That's the stats and specs. Hope you've enjoyed that. Let's get down to the nitty gritty analysing this piece. So now you know the stats and specs. Getting into the nitty gritty of pros and cons of this watch, and will I end up ultimately recommending it to you? And I'm also going to be doing a bit of a comparison with a better value Japanese alternative, and that's the infamous Casio Duro, the Marlin, which I've got here with me as well. And we're going to get an idea of, even though this is a £90 watch, often found for sometimes a bit less if you can grab it in the sale. I've got this at H. Samuel, if I haven't said that already. How does it compare with that kind of watch? And if you just don't fancy the Casio and you want something which is a British brand and a totally different design to it, yet it's still a budget 200-meter watch, albeit a quartz still, you're in the right place. So let's carry on. And I've got on my usual little notebook so I don't miss anything out. And I've got the watch here so I can really study it as I regale the pros and cons. And the first thing I really like is the design. I think the clever thing about this is subtle yet balancing of different colours and textures throughout the piece, really. I'll start with the dial. Is the main thing I really like. It's the middle part of sunburst, but it's not a garish or overly bright and obvious sunburst. It's a nice subtle, very dark blue. Got really nice strong bold indices that aren't framed at all. There's a very subtle tiny bit of white framing around them, but they're very bold and very clear, and they are really easy to read when you look at also the gorgeous hands with really good loom on them. I've shown you the loom before. Give you an idea, I've got a Swiss watch which is going to be reviewed. I haven't done it yet, and the loom on these hands is better than on that Swiss watch. It either says how bad that Swiss watch is, or you're doing okay with a £90 Accurist. Then you've got 120 click rotating bezel. Again, this nice chunky design to it, and it's a brushed PVD coated finish, and it's really nice with it. And it contrasts and works really well with the other black elements on the dial, such as the black skeletonized hands. Really classy and really well proportioned watch, even though it's a big 43mm case size watch and quite chunky at 13.3mm thick. It works really well in proportion. If you want something that's got a bit of a chunky diver looking watch, it fits the bill. But it's got a nice little splash of colour here and there. Like I said, those bold indices, but then you've got a nice orange second hand, which really gives it a little zap of colour. I like it has 200 meters water resistance. That effectively means it's not a dive watch depth rating 200 meters. What that's basically saying is, for 99.9% of your average Joe who's going to wear this on holiday and do maybe some light snorkeling, or even go down and do a bit of recreational, it's going to be fine. And you're not going to have to worry about it. It's a proper do anything kind of watch for less than £100. That's what I like as well. The price is acceptable, I think. But I'm kind of middle of the road on that opinion, I think, for the price. I think spoiled with the fact that the Casio Duro, I spent less than £50 on mine. And that has the same spec as this, pretty much. I like the history and the brand of Accurist. It's been since 1946. They've sponsored the countdown to the Millennium Clock, or the Accurist clock, at the GMT Observatory, the Greenwich Observatory. They've been associated with pop culture since the 60s and things like that. They've been strongly involved with many things. They've also been linked with the talking clock as well, you know, sponsorship of that. And there's been over 3 billion phone calls to the talking clock. You basically phone a number and it tells you the time. Now, I really like this large crown on this watch. It's really chunky. I mean, if we're comparing it back again to the Casio Duro, the elements of the Casio Duro which are tactile is just the bezel, and as the same with this watch, the crown. The two main things you may interact with. Another massive plus if you're well into your ticking seconds hand, lining up, bang on the markers, you're gonna get that with this. So it's nice on a budget watch like this Accurist to have it lining up. I've talked for a long time about that. There's a lot of pros with this watch, there really are. So I think you're going to kind of get to understand what my overall feeling is with this watch. But it's also a versatile watch in terms of, if you don't fancy it looking a bit bland on this black strap, you can up your game a bit and stick it on. Here's an image here of it on the blue tasty waffle. A nice chunky strap. The blue is going to complement with the dial. It's going to work together with that. If you don't fancy the blue, you really want to go all summery and fun, you can get it on the Tempest on the 22. Both of these are quick release, so it's dead easy to change them out. The Tempest in orange, that's going to work with that second hand. These are great straps which I proudly offer on my store, so if you fancy upgrading any of your watches with any of my straps, check out the store. A fun piece to enjoy and wear, and it's something definitely you can enjoy over the summer months, and you can enjoy it year round as an everyday kind of work watch. You know, if you do lots of things around the garden, the house, and you have a very practical job, it's a kind of watch which is definitely going to suit your lifestyle, because you're not going to worry about it too much. Yeah, it still looks nice. It's not a big ugly thing on your wrist. It's actually got a very chunky look to it. So if you like your bigger, chunkier watches, it's a winner. But as we know, not all watches are perfect. There's going to be a few flaws. There's going to be some issues, and I like to disclose those now, because no watch is perfect. Even though I got this watch discounted by getting a discount code through H. Samuel, it was on sale, I think. £90 is still quite a lot, because I know about the Casio Duro, and also G-Shock. You know, I paid £100 for that, and that's properly tough watch. There's a lot of competition at this price point. You know, it's all quartz generally. So yeah, I'd say for £90, it's a little bit too much. Slightly squiffy bezel alignment. That's the only, it's ever so slightly springy feel to it as well. There's no back play. It's just when you're using it, if you use it a little bit faster, it's got a very springy sound. And it's actually, when the watch is a bit wet, I've used this, you know, just for testing purposes. If you're going to use your rotating bezel when it's wet, it's almost impossible. It's like it becomes like it's made of butter. You just can't turn it. It's really awkward to turn. And there's no loom anywhere on it. It'd be good to have a loom pip. This doesn't have it. And it's, even though it weighs the same as the Casio Duro, because it's quite thick, it's a chunky beastie, but I noticed when I was wearing the Accurist, it just felt like it was a little bit more like flopping around on my wrist a bit. So would I recommend this watch? Definitely, I really would. It's nice to have a British brand watch on here as well. You know, like a bit of patriotism, if you will. But for £90, if you can find them for less, which you can, I don't think I tried. I don't think I tried hard enough. You can get them for less. I think it's a great watch to get with for your money. If you're just bored of or just don't fancy the alternatives, this is a great alternative. And it's nice to have something like this on the channel, you know. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, thanks for watching this video. Stick with me, because I've got plenty more to come. And I look forward to sharing that with you. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.